Hello, esteemed fans. Welcome to another edition of the Evening Political Rumbles. I remain the anchor of Inquest TV. In this edition, we shall be looking into fundamental issues that, of course, borders on the security and safety of the Nigerians, especially down here in southwestern Nigeria, precisely Lagos State. And of course, the recent banning of Okadas within about 6 local governments within Lagos State, and the aftermath of the pandemonium that followed, of course, the banning of Okadas riders. Could it be that the government has done the needful in the face of rising insecurity and threats? Of recent, it has been reported from several quarters across Lagos State that kidnappers and ritualists are on rampage. You can't imagine in the popular roads or streets of Lagos has been turned to kidnapper den or point of picking people without most people being aware of that. The most recent is very shocking. Where just about 7 p.m., some group of people were rounded up and they were whisked away to unknown destination. And God being so kind to one of them happened to escape and was able to narrate the audience experience, of course, which he had in the hands of those kidnappers or people or purported rituals, you never can tell, who are either kidnapping or adopting people for ritual cases or to extort money from them. Now, this is the height of insecurity that have greeted us in this recent time, especially the urban settlements. And what exactly are we seeing, and where are we going from here? What are the response of governments? Is the banning of Okada the right step in the right direction? Well, I would want to, of course, give you opportunity to express your own view in respect to this. On the comment section, let us know what is your mind, what is your advice, or what is your suggestion to the governments or to people who the government's policy at this time has affected. Of course, especially what led to the banning of Okada was the recent riot between the traders and the Okada riders in within that axis, Alaba axis, which of course resulted to destruction of life and property, wanton destruction of life and property. Well, in my own opinion, in respect to this, I think the government has not done the needful. It's in the first place, there has been unchecked influx of people within the metropolitan city, Lagos State, and in fact, in their hundreds of thousands within a week, people are flooding Lagos State unchecked. The borders are so open and porous that people can check in anytime without even identifying the kind of people who are flooding Lagos State on daily basis. Most of which, for me, are coming for greener pasture or people who has been displaced from the northern regions, or the of course north central, who of course are looking for a shelter, running away from the insurgency, running away from hunger, running away from of course the malicious bandits who of course has taken to the street now, not now occupying the bushes. They have taken to the street demanding ransom, demanding several conditions from the settlers who refuse to flee their abode. And of course, they are now living at the mercy of the banditry. And you cannot understand that the security of Lagos State has been overstretched, and the government was indifferent and complacent about the movement of people. Of course, everybody has the right to move as within the Nigerian state, but not to the intent of posing a potential threat to the life and residence of Lagosians. I think this is the area the government of Lagos State, under the watch of Babajide Sanwo-Olu, got it outrightly wrong. For my own opinion, I will argue that the right thing for the government to nip this crisis at the bud is not just to suspend or totally bound the Okada riders, because in some considerations they are also assisting in the commercial activities or day-to-day activities of the day. People, of course, always call them for an opportunity, or people who want to fly, of course, Okada, to meet up or catch up with their programs for the day, will also find it very difficult to meet up, especially those within the suburb regions of Lagos, that their regions or areas are not motorable. The road network is at the most deplorable state, and it appears that the presence of the Lagos state government is not felt there either. It's very unfortunate, and this will also affect them. Unfortunately, the government do not consider the implication of such action and the possible potential of posing a threat and a harm, a colossal danger to the residents of Lagos State. As a matter of fact, what I would have suggested in the interest of all, of course, for the people who are dislodged from their, of course, way of taking care of their families. Most of them are genuine people searching for their daily meal by plying the Okada and assisting people to get to their destinations. But the fundamental issue the government neglected is that throwing these people back to the street without a proper, analyzing it from all fronts, that throwing them back to the street without nothing to fall back on will rather increase the rate of crime and criminality, nuisance, of course, within the Lagos metropolitan city, and of course around the suburb regions of Lagos. It will pose a more threat to the people and the commercial activities, and the people will be on rampage to extort, to begin to exploit people and their belongings. It is very unfortunate policy. What I think the government should have done is to profile these Okada riders, give them uniform, give them identity or tracking number, which each of them will be able to be tracked in the case of abuse, or if should the miscreant among them who of course will want to use it to perpetrate crime can easily be tracked with their ID, with their biometrics, or with the ID of the Okada rider or the bike within each local government or within each town. That would have been the best way to engage them in a more civil manner rather than just pushing them out, everybody to himself, God to us all. When you adore, let the devil text you. That is not how community should be built. You should be considerate. You should also be in their shoe. You should also empathize with them. Having left the northern regions down to here, and the resort to Okada riding might not be the wish of most of them. You can understand that even the Okada riders their riding is on higher purchase. It's being bought for them by the political elites. You never can tell. Yes, as a way of cushioning the effect or probably running their errands, you never can tell, because most of the criminality is being perpetrated using Okada or motorbikes. And what I am saying is that I'm not in any way supporting the criminality or criminal tendency or mindedness of the few people who are exploiting that to, of course, constitute nuisance, to kill and adopt people, to snatch people's belongings. No. There are cases and instances where people have been robbed, some group of people, some regions or markets have been robbed using Okada to weeks away after the oppression. But what I am saying in a sense is that for the interest and the benefit of all, the governments of Lagos State should have considered its action, the consequences of such policy, even at a moment like this, when the entire region, when the entire country is threatened, when the height of insecurity has gone to its climax, if I may say. People are now apprehensive, people are living in fear, people are living in dread, and pushing some thousands or 5 million people into the streets could also constitute a major threat. The government should, of course, review his position and see how, if possible, to, of course, reintegrate these people in a more civil way, engage them in a more civil way, or of course seek the service of some contractors who will take up the job and see to it that every Okada rider is being profiled, is being properly documented with their ID, with their biometrics and all that. That is how to build a mega city. It is not just built on mere mouths. You see? And those regions that are not more trouble, what you should do, visit those areas and ensure that you award contracts to take care of those roads. For crying loud, these people are paying tax, these people are part of Lagosians, are part of your constituency. They should not be neglected or sidelined as if they are not part of Lagos. People are suffering on daily basis. Ikotu axis, Yanaba, Yanasa, and across what is that place, Badagry, axis routes. All these places are death traps. Cars can move freely. You see, that's why people resort to patronizing the Okada riders just as a way of course, keeping to the activities or appointments on daily basis. So I would want the government to review the policy of banning Okadas and come up with a way of documentation or profiling every person within Lagos State to ensure the safety and security of the people or the residents or people who come to do business and retire to their destinations or base is safe and secured. And if, of course, will not pose a threat to the government. You saw the aftermath of what happened, that when the police wanted to engage the supposed Okada riders who are protesting, or the hoodlums who took the advantage of that, they were arresting the policemen and they have to take to their heels. They were running for their life because these people are desperate and are not happy with the development, and might of course resort to criminality as a way of sustaining themselves and making ends meet. It's very unfortunate where we found ourselves in this country, where governments do not consider its the effects of its policies, the long, short, or middle term effect, economic effect, impact, before drawing conclusion. They just wake up and think that is the right thing to do. Well, you might hide under any disguise that you want to rebuild the regions or the market. It is immaterial. But what about the 6 local governments or 6 regions where you have restricted or totally bound the Okada operation? It is very unfortunate. We are in a very critical moment and in a very in a dilemma, in a crossroad. How do we get out of this wood when the government of Nigeria begin to take responsibility of its failure for allowing millions of its citizens, especially within the productive age, to wander the streets of Nigeria without any means of livelihood, without engaging them properly for proper and productive engagement? Is very unfortunate. These are negligence of decades on the part of government that is now, of course, constituting nuisance and unrest across the north, the south, the east, and of course the west is not left in this mess. I would want to know, what is your own position and what do you think the government should have done better? Or is there any opportunity you could also suggest that the government should do otherwise to ensure the safety of people within the metropolitan city or the mega city, so to say? But something must be done to avert the looming catastrophe that is very imminent and unavoidable should this caution be thrown to the air or neglected. It's very unfortunate. Before I leave you for today, please, I will want to make a passionate appeal. If you love me and you love this ministry of Chigozie, I will want you to support us by subscribing to this channel if you have not done so, and also like our videos. Like our videos. By so doing, you are encouraging us. You are trying to help us to gain more public view so that people will understand the preaching, what you are making, the service you are rendering to humanity, to ensure that, of course, this will get to the Lagos state government so that they can review their policies and have a check and balances the effect and consequences of their actions or inactions, so that we can build a more better society for Nigeria. Together we can do this. All I need is from you is to, if you have subscribed to this channel, thank you so much. If you have not done that, this is an opportunity to encourage us to serve humanity better. See you some other time. Remain safe and God bless you.